Yo, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, broys. How are y'all doing, man? It's been quite some time since the last SarCAST episode, man. Welcome everybody to the new, again, pre-recorded SarCAST episode. A lot of you guys prefer the pre-recorded version of the SarCAST because I can stick to the points a bit better. I don't need to read chat after every sentence, and donations don't bother the topics, right? But yeah, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the SarCAST podcast this time around, right after week 7 of MPL ID and technically PH. Yeah, I'm sorry that I couldn't really upload a SarCAST. I couldn't really upload any content last week because of a few problems on my end. But this week I'm all good, right? So we're gonna be making this right here. We're for you guys to finally watch some content. I'm wearing an RRQ jersey, as you can see. But yeah, I think we're just going to jump straight into the topics because we have a few very interesting topics to talk about this time. While the news is hot, right? While we're right in it, all right? So firstly, let's jump into MPL Indonesia and Philippines standings. Because obviously week 7 just wrapped up. Let's talk about the standings because this is basically what we can we'll talk about what we can kind of expect for the next week, for week 8, right? Because I think it's kind of different here for Philippines and Indonesia. I think it's kind of been reversed, right? It has been reversed, I believe. Because usually it's MPL Philippines who are very competitive up until the final week, right? MPL Philippines, usually you don't know who's going to make it to the playoffs up until the very last week. Or up until week 8. But this time in Season 10, NXPE and TNC have been knocked out from playoff contention already very early on, right? So because of that, for MPL PH right now, with Echo being number 1, Blacklist International being number 2, Omega, Onyx Philippines, Bren Esports, and RSG Philippines. We're just going to see the standings go back and forth. But I think Echo are kind of safe already in the upper brackets. Again, I don't know. Technically, they have 23 points. So Blacklist the other teams can actually still take their place. Because it's also different, by the way, guys. This is something you guys need to know too if you're looking at the standings and if you want to compare the teams. How we calculate the points in Indonesia and in Philippines, very different, right? Because in Indonesia, we take a look at the match win-lose. That's the most important stat, right? The aggregate points and everything else, it's a bonus. Like, let's say the match win-lose of 2 teams are the same, then we look at the aggregate points. Then we look at the team head-to-head, the matches head-to-head for both of those teams, right? But for Philippines, you guys, they actually look at the overall points. So aggregate points is the most important thing for Philippines in terms of the standings and how they calculate who's number 1, who's number 2, all the way to number 8, right? So that's a difference, and that's why I think Beloy got mixed up a bit. He DM'd me after week 6, I think, after he lost the match. He was like, "Yo, bro, how do we calculate like the standings? Is it match win lose or is it aggregate points?" And I told him it was match win lose, and he was like, "Oh, okay." So yeah, our chances are looking pretty low. So that's why, right? I was kind of confused as well, but that's why. Philippines and Indo, we have it different. But yeah, in the Philippines, technically, number 1 to 6, they can still kind of flop around depending on week 8's matches. So we'll see. But in terms of who goes to the playoffs for Philippines, it's been confirmed, right? Echo is looking super strong, crazy strong. 9-2 match win-lose is pretty impressive, right? I think in Season 10, was it? Oh, no, Season 9, I think. Wait, my bad. Season 8. It was Blacklist International not losing a single match. But this time, it is a bit more competitive, right? Blacklist International aren't as dominant as they used to be, which is maybe not good for the Blacklist agents, but it's good for MLBB and for MPLPH, definitely, because we're finally getting some new contenders, right? We're getting some new colors as well. And Blacklist International, a team who has been up top for so long, will now need to, again, maybe reinvent themselves and adapt to the current meta and how the current meta plays. They can still stick to their identity, obviously, but that's why it's interesting, right? Now there are dynamics to it. Blacklist will have to change something if they want to get back to number one, maybe even to take the title again. Then all the other teams as well. Honestly, this season for both PH and ID has been just very fun. RSG, I expected them to be top 2 with Blacklist. Look where they're at. They're 6th place, right? 18 points, right below Bren. And RSG came into Season 10 as one of the favorites, if not the favorites, to win it all. But now I think we're going to transition over to Indonesia right now, right? Because for all the other teams, Omega, we all know how crazy he is. If you guys want to know my take on Omega, you can obviously watch the Omega versus, I forgot what match did I analyze? Omega Blacklist. Yeah, you guys can watch an Omega Blacklist game that I reacted to. But now I do want to talk a bit more about Indonesia because right now, in my opinion, Indonesia is looking a little bit more interesting because we really don't know who's going to make it to the playoffs, right? It's pretty crazy. We have the upper bracket secured for one team. That's it. Onyx Esports have secured their upper bracket slot, have secured a playoff spot for sure. RQ Hoshi, RQ, Aura, Alter Ego as well. They've secured playoffs, but all three of those teams, RQ, Aura, Alter Ego, are still going to be fighting for the upper brackets, right? Aura and Alter Ego have a 25% chance. It'll depend on RQ's games and matches in week 8, and Aura and Alter Ego technically need to win all of their matches if they want to get to the upper brackets. RQ, all they need to do is win their last match. That's it. They have one last match. I think they have one last match to go. Wait. Let me calculate it. Yes, they have one more match to go. And then they're done, right? So with that one more match, it is going to be RQ versus Evos Legends, which will be on Saturday. This Saturday. That's going to be a big match. 1st of October. That might actually be the decider as well, because we're going to talk a bit about the red zone in the playoffs first, right? Because for the top 4, it's Onyx are crazy. They're too good. RQ, Aura, and Alter Ego are going to, fight for it. We'll see who actually makes it to that top. But now we'll talk about the bottom 4, because this is where it gets very interesting, right? Bigatron Alpha at 5th place with 6 and 7 match win lose. Evos Legends, the half-season champions, went from a record of 5-2 to a 5 losing streak, and now they're sitting at 5-7, which is insane, right? Like this was the team that the hype was at. Everyone was talking about Evos Legends when they beat Onyx, when they beat RRQ, and when they took the half-season champion title. But they haven't really found their form in the second leg, and man, it's been I don't want to call it a roller coaster, because roller coasters are up and down. Evos Legends right now, it's a fall, right? It's a fall from grace, literally from number 1 to 6th. We will talk about Evos a bit more later on, but this is the scenario for BTR first. For BTR, if they want to keep their chance alive to make it to the playoffs, they need to win their final match. Their final match is up against Evos Legends, right? So that's going to be a big match as well. It's going to be on the first day of MPL Indonesia Season 10, Week 8. So go ahead and watch. Stay tuned, because that's going to be a massive one to see if Evos or Bigatron Alpha will be the first ones. Well, no, if Bigatron Alpha can secure the playoff spot, or if Evos Legends can, right? Then for Evos, it's going to rely on 2 matches. Evos need to win both of their matches to be 100% sure. Oh, it's not even 100% though. So here, all right. How do I describe this? Evos Legends currently are sitting at a 5-7 match win-lose. They are tied in terms of the match record with Rebellion Zion. 5 wins, 7 losses. But Evos Legends have -1 aggregate point, and Rebellion Zion have -2 aggregate points. So if Evos Legends win both of their matches 2-1, they will still be below of Rebellion Zion if Rebellion Zion win all their matches. 2 left, 2-0. You guys understand what I mean? So Evos Legends will need, this is the optimal route for them. This is if they want to guarantee that slot, 2-0 Bigatron Alpha and 2-0 RRQ Hoshi. That's how they guarantee their slot into the playoffs. For Rebellion Zion, it's kind of the same, right? They're going to have to wish that Evos Legends don't 2-0 both Bigatron and RRQ Hoshi, and Rebellion Zion are going to have to try to 2-0 their last remaining opponents. I think it's Aura. Rebellion Zion will be going up against Aura, I do believe, yeah? Aura Fire. Then they're going to go up against Geek Fam. Okay, so this ties into that 8th spot. For Geek Fam, they have to win. They only have one match left. Oh, man. For Geek Fam, they have to hope that Evos Legends and Rebellion Zion lose all their matches, and they will have to win 2-0 every single game. So it's the miracle run is definitely for Geek Fam right now, right? Because Rebellion Zion and Evos Legends, they're closer. Geek Fam they only have one match, so they got to make it count. They need to win that match 2-0, and they need to hope that Evos Legends and Rebellion Zion both lose both of their matches 2-0. So for Geek Fam, it is truly a miracle run. For Rebellion Zion and Evos Legends and Bigatron Alpha, it's very, very close. And for the rest, the top 4, we already mentioned it, upper brackets, it's crazy, right? Like the scenarios right now is insane. I can't wait to see it unveil because it's just so cool to see that the final standings and the teams who get to playoffs, who gets the playoff. That question will be answered on literally the final week, and perhaps might even be the final day of that final week. Because if Rebellion Zion win their match or lose their match, all right, just imagine this, all right? Just imagine this. I'm sorry. We're just kind of spinning around. We're going in circles because of how crazy it is in the standings, but let's get this. Let's say Evos Legends lose both their matches 2-0, okay? Evos Legends are out from playoffs already. Geek Fam, 4-8 right now. Rebellion Zion lost one of their match, so they're 5-8. And the final match of the season will be Rebellion Zion versus Geek Fam. If Rebellion lose one match before and Geek Fam go up against Rebellion Zion on that final day, that will literally determine who goes to the playoffs. Geek Fam for the first time or Rebellion Zion for the first time. That's kind of crazy. If that happens, that will be a night to remember, folks. So let's all hope that happens because, well, let's not all hope that happens. If you're an Evos Legends fan, then obviously you don't want that to happen. You want Evos to make it. But for me, I'm always rooting for underdogs right here. I hope Rebellion Zion and Geek Fam actually are able to make it competitive here in the final week. And I can't wait to see just a guns blazing, nothing to lose game in that final match. Because it's damn. Like, looking at the standings is just so fun, right? Because of how competitive it really is. It's so cool. It's so cool. But on that note, I think it's time for us to move on from just the standings to maybe now a good topic will be, we'll start with Aura Fire. What's wrong with Aura Fire? All right, we're gonna transition over to the next topic because Aura Fire they're kind of in a similar position as Evos Legends, not in terms of standings, but in terms of performance. There's a huge dip recently for Aura Fire, right? And for me, this is obviously my opinion on the matter. I'm not a coach. I don't know what's going on in front or backstage for Aura Fire. I don't know what's going on in scrims, their personal lives. But this is me as a caster looking at it face value and trying to give my opinions to all you guys, the viewers, right? If you guys want to know my opinion. If you don't, click away. Aura Fire right now, from what I've seen so far, all the way from the beginning of the season, right? Or you know what? Let's take it back a little bit. From Season 9, the way that they've found their success has been with those crazy picks. The picks that are super flexible and the picks that you literally just don't know where they're going to go, right? the Uranus jungler back in the day. When they picked Uranus, everyone thought, okay, it's going to go to the XP lane. So they left the XP pick all the way for the last pick. And then they picked up like an Esmeralda and they put Uranus in the jungle. So it creates such a big curveball for the enemy team. Now, though, you don't really see those creative picks anymore. Or maybe because they are getting a bit too comfortable with the heroes that they're playing well at. The crazy hero pools that we kind of were very, what's it called? Impressed by, amazed by, is not here anymore. Let's talk about it, right? Hai, the man that could play anything, basically, back in Season 9. Khufra jungler, Uranus jungler, Minotaur jungler, and obviously all the assassins as well. He plays Lancelot, he plays Ling, all that, right? This season, though, he's only played a few. He hasn't really experimented that much. They don't go for those Khufras in the jungle. They don't go for anything crazy. They do, but now that crazy pick isn't really crazy. Amon has become prio for every team, right? This is not just a hero that Hai can perform on. That's an Amon. Secondly, he likes to play the Natan when Amon Ling is taken out of the equation. Previous patch, he played the Natalia. And then we have obviously the Ling. These are the 4 heroes that I can remember from Hai that I've seen. I don't think he's played the Paquito. Okay, he's played the Fanny as well. The utility Fanny build that we saw from Hai, the tank Fanny. That's it, right? But Fanny's mostly banned. Amon is prio right now, so also what I'm trying to say is from all the 5 heroes that I mentioned earlier, nothing really surprises you, No, there's no curveball here, and there's nothing really super interesting. He's a very good Amon. I still think he is the best Amon in Indonesia, but when he gets banned out, he has to play something else. The Ling, which is a solid pick in the jungle, but a lot of teams understand how to go up against a Ling. If you don't get your purple buff, if you get zoned away from all the neutral objectives and you lose out in terms of XP, you're really not going to be able to do a lot in your jungle, right? Even in terms of rotating in the map, sure, you could say that, if Ling falls behind, we can just split push. Not if his purple buff is taken away from him. Not if the enemy has a strong XP laner that can duel him, even with Ling on purple buff. If Ling gets shut down in the early game, he's 2 levels or 3 levels below the enemy XP laner, he's not going to be able to split push. Then we have the Natan, which I believe is just like a kind of a cheese pick for him. Didn't really work out. It worked out once and that's it. And the Natalia jungle, which is currently irrelevant in the new patch. Everything is kind of expected now for Hai's hero. Godiva, Kadita, Ruby, Minsathar, that's a new pick that came out, and this is one of the picks that I was excited about, right? When he picked it up, I was like, all right, this is the aura I remember. These are the crazy picks that I want to see from them up against a very heavy dash comp with Minsathar being buffed in the new patch. I like that adaptation, right? Instantly picking it up. A hero that we saw him on in Season 9, actually, but it was used once. He found success on it once. And the next game, they tried to do it again. Didn't work out. Third game, I think it was banned. And you see, Ruby, Kadira, Minsathar. That's about it. He's played the Khufra too, but he lost on the Khufra, right? I'm mentioning the heroes. The heroes that I want to mention are the heroes that he's found success on. Lolita as well. He lost on that, Lolita. So in terms of the hero pool that he's really comfortable with, it does seem like he's only comfortable on... Technically, for me, like thinking about it, it's the Kadira, right? Though that's his most comfortable hero. That's his pocket pick. And on any other hero, it does feel like right now he is feeling shaky. It's very shaky for Godiva. Now we move on to Kabuki, the person again that we thought had just such a massive hero pool. He could play any hero, but in terms of his comfort, he's only comfortable on 3 heroes, I believe, this season, right? Back in Season 9, it was Fanny for sure. Then we have the Yuzong, we have the Beatrix, and we have the Cho in the gold lane. Now you take away the Cho, technically take away the Fanny too, because the Fanny is just not gonna pop out. It's always banned out, and you're left with 2 heroes for Kabuki to play. The Beatrix, which was nerfed recently, so you can kind of take it out as well, because the power hasn't really been... yeah, Beatrix hasn't really been showing up that much in MPL ID since the patch. I thought the patch wouldn't really affect Beatrix that much because it was kind of an adjustment more than a nerf. But yeah, we haven't been seeing Beatrix, so we'll take that out. Yu Zhong. We've seen it on the Melissa. We've seen him on the Claude, but it's not Kabuki's style. It's not his style, and it doesn't feel like he's comfortable on it as well because he's not able to make those crazy plays that we see him do on the Yu Zhong, the Cho, on the Beatrix. So, yeah, I mean, it's the same for Facehugger and Fluffy. Fluffy, technically, right now, Paquito, Esmeralda. Those are the two heroes that I can say that he kind of finds his comfort on. But all the other heroes so far, haven't really seen it that much. Facehugger, Valentina. I don't think Valentina in this patch currently. For Facehugger, I think right now, I thought he would actually be buffed as well with the patch because of the Farsa buff, right? We've seen the Farsa pop off, but Facehugger hasn't picked up the Farsa. He's still relying on Yves, Lilia, Faramis. Am I missing anything? Valentina technically got nerfed. Yeah, hasn't found success on the new Valentina. So 3 heroes. There you go. So it just makes it very predictable now. Usually they were able to cover Facehugger's hero pool with everyone being so diverse, right? Everyone having such a deep and a massive hero pool. But now it feels like everybody has a very, I don't want to call it shallow, but they only want to play the heroes that they're comfortable with. And that's why Aura Fire are stagnating right now. So yeah, that's what I think about Aura Fire and why they're not really performing that well currently. And now it's time to talk about a little bit something a little bit more general, I believe. It's kind of a more general topic, but I do want to talk about it because we just recently, just in the last topic, we were talking about the patch, right? A lot of heroes being nerfed, a lot of heroes being buffed as well. And with that, I want to talk about the MPL viewership and entertainment value because and just the sheer level of competitiveness, I think, right? Because early on, week 1 to week 5, or week 1 to week 4, it felt great, right? The meta was a new meta, a meta that we just got, a patch that just dropped a few days or a week before MPL started. So it was great. It was great just kind of absorbing this new meta, how the pro players are playing in this new meta. And for us, it's new because it's fresh. These picks, we haven't seen it before, right? The Faramis, they got revamped, etc. As the weeks progressed, obviously the tournament meta progressed as well. The heroes that were very prio in the start of week 1 weren't as prio in the end of week 4, right? And that just shows, again, the development and the progression of the competitive meta in MPL. But it went on for a bit too long because Moonton canceled the emblem patch, right? So there should have been a patch released during week 5, I believe, right? Or right before week 5. During or right before. I think it should be right before week 5. But because they canceled the talent emblem update and they didn't cancel it, they postponed it to a later date, we were stuck with the same meta for 2 additional weeks. Because usually there's a big patch that comes through in week 5, and then we'll have that same same experience we had from week 1 and week 4. We're like, okay, new heroes, fresh. We're not going to see the same heroes again that was picked up the first month, right? We're seeing new heroes, we're seeing new metas, we're seeing how people can play the game, and etc. The viewership definitely dropped, I think, during week 5 a bit. Week 6, I could feel it, and it wasn't just the viewers. It feels like even in the game, the players got so used to the meta, they mastered the meta so well already that the games were just faster. If you guys take a look at week 5, but most importantly, just take a look at week 6, it was very evident that the games were getting really fast, right? The game duration was 12, 13, 14 minutes. The longest game was 17 minutes, I think, in that week 6. And previously in week 1 till week 4, we had 28-minute games, 30-minute games, super long games in MPL Indonesia because the teams were still also kind of, adapting to the meta, still reading into it. And it shows that, they haven't really mastered the meta 100%. In week 6, though, it really felt like the extra 2 weeks where the same patch was played, the teams just completely understood already, and the games were mostly decided in the drafts. Well, I think so, right? Like week 5, week 6, I think the games were decided heavily by the drafts. And thank God that we got that patch right before week 7, because week 7 was the best week in terms of viewership, I think, since the start of MPL ID Season 10. Viewership was high because, again, there's that interest from everyone who plays the game, obviously, who want to watch, who want to see, hey, what's the meta right now? What are the pro teams doing, right? What are the pro players doing currently with the new patch, with all these crazy things? How is the draft going to look like? How are they going to play? The duration and how they're going to play with the new the map opening thingamajiggy. Ward in the base? Yeah, when you step on it and you reveal your own jungle when your tier 2 gets taken out. That, right? There's these new things in the game. And it was fun seeing the drafts again. It was a breath of fresh air. We saw Minstathar pick. We saw more unique picks, not the same heroes over and over again for 4 weeks, for 6 weeks in a row. The game duration was a bit longer as well because the teams are still adapting and the teams are able to use that to prolong these games and to take it later. And it's great. It's great. That's what I want to say, right? The entertainment value and the viewership definitely is impacted by the patch as well. It's great to see patches rolling out. Not too fast, though. If it's like every 2 weeks, I think that's a bit too much. I think 4 weeks of MPL ID or MPL in general hit you with a new patch for the second leg for the next 4 weeks. It's like that's a sweet spot, right? Because even if you go over, like if you give it 6 weeks before a new patch, it kind of feels stale, right? The meta, and obviously as a viewer, as a caster, I felt it. I felt like the games were getting very black and white, very formulaic. You know exactly what's going to happen. You can predict what's going to happen based on the drafts. Next, though, we have a big topic. This one is the biggest topic, and this is the hottest topic right now. It's Evos Legends, the downfall of Evos Legends. There's going to be quite a bit to talk about actually for this topic, right? I don't know where to start, honestly. Let me think about it. Where do we start? I think we'll start with their success early on in the season, right? Because I remember as well when I made my power rankings, I put Evos Legends at I forgot where I put Evos Legends, but I put them in the top 3. And why I put them in the top 3 was because I really like the vision or the mission, I guess, yeah, that they were going for this season. They farewelled a lot of the experienced players, a lot of the players who are veterans and who maybe were already satisfied, right? They're satisfied. They've won M1, they've won trophies. Maybe they don't have that hunger. And they ditched them for new players that supposedly are hungrier, who have the determination and the dedication to win, right? And I really like that. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I think if you guys have watched all my SarCAST, if you guys follow my live streams, I've been very vocal about it. I've even said, I've even told Zace that, like, yo, I like what Evos are doing. They're getting like the new generation and they're basing it off of how determined the players really are, right? I like that. With the roster early on, it did feel very shaky with Bajan, Fairsick, Taz, Clover, Lar / Pendragon, right? I think they found, well, I don't know. Personally, for me, I really liked the Lar when they were up against GEEK Fam. The Lar was pretty solid, right? I really liked how the Lar played. I really liked how Fairsick played as well. Bajan, not so much, maybe. He got demoted after. But okay, let's track back. We're getting a little bit too far ahead in time. Let's talk about that first roster, right? Pendragon, actually, Fairsick. Then we had Bajan, Taz, and Clover. That was the first roster. Mixed results. Instantly, in week 2 or week 3, I forgot, they swapped over Bajan and Fairsick, which was a big shocker, right? Everyone was saying that, oh, Clover needs to be demoted to MDL. Brands needs to be promoted to the MPL. He's popping off in the MDL. And Bajan got swapped over for Dreams. Fairsick went down for Sutsujin. That was the first big change, and everybody was criticizing Evos Legends for doing it. I personally was kind of, again, on Evos Legends' side at that point, because I felt like, all right, you know what? We'll see what happens, right? Because both these players that have been promoted to the MPL are really good. Sutsujin, he was insane in MDL, absolutely just out-retreating everyone. And even in his picks, he's very dynamic. He plays utility junglers, he can play assassins as well. And like Zace mentioned, he's very disciplined. Fairsick, I think in terms of mechanics, in terms of potential for mechanics and just individual play, I think he's better. But the discipline, Sutsujin, yeah, I'll give you that, right? Sutsujin is a very disciplined jungler. So putting him up there with Dreams, that combination that we've seen, that duo that we've seen in the MDL, just absolutely tearing it apart, with Dreams also having such an amazing MDL season early on, was a good move, in my opinion. He moved Dreams up, and Evos Legends just started to win every single game. They tried playing Dilar as well, and they kept on winning, right? With Pendragon, with Dilar, they kept on winning. Then, they started losing again. And that's where I felt like, now it's getting weird, right? Like the first 2 times where you made roster adjustments, roster changes, it's all right. Like when you felt like Fairsick and Bajan weren't really performing, so you demoted them for Sutsujin and Dreams. All right. You played Dilar, he had a good performance, good. We go on to the next one. Goes up against Onyx Esports, Dilar, with Evos Legends with Dilar, loses game 1. Instantly, sub Dilar out, put Pendragon in. Pendragon wins, all right, we're good. We'll use this roster again. We keep winning, up until the second leg starts. We play again. We lose against Aura. All right. We've just lost again. We need to change something. Pendragon. We don't. Okay, Pendragon. Going to be subbed out. Dilar down to MDL, which is a very interesting move. SarCAST to MPL. Again, at that time, I was like, wow, whoa. Dilar to MDL? That's a big move. That's like a imported Filipino player, the M3 runner-up, the general. A lot of people still consider like Dilar to be one of the best Filipino XP laners to MDL for SarCAST. I have nothing against SarCAST. He's an amazing player. Don't hate the player. It was his first time playing in MPL too. But with SarCAST coming in, I felt I already got like kind of a bad feeling. They're changing things way too much. After every loss, after every little mistake that the roster makes, they're getting a little bit too impulsive with the substitutions and the demotions and the promotions, right? That's where I felt it. And then it's very evident in, well, like the last 2 weeks, week 6 and week 7, right? Because with SarCAST up and in, SarCAST plays one game in MPL on stage, they lose, and Pendragon comes back in. Again, right? Like instant. They want instant. They're not trusting the process. They're not giving SarCAST the proper time to develop and to experience the stage. You're like, you play one game, oh, you lost, get out. All right, Pendragon, you come in, he loses again, and then the next match they played the SarCAST again, which is just kind of funny, right? Because it feels right. I don't know. I'm not part of Evos Legends. Obviously, I'm looking at this face value, but it feels very weird. Every time you lose, you change something in your roster. And dude, changing rosters like that will definitely impact the synergy, the communication, and obviously the bond that the players have with each other, right? And the last week was, I think, the most, I don't know, I kind of facepalm. That's, again, my opinion. But when they put Taz in the gold lane and Clover in the mid, I was like, well, okay. They lost again with the Pendragon SarCAST thingy-majiggy, and now they're like, you know what? Let's change up the mid lane and the gold lane. They changed it, and then they lost, and then the final match they changed it back. Clover in gold and Taz in mid, and man, honestly, for me, this is just my opinion, but I think you should stop changing things that often, you know, like give the players a bit of space to develop together with 5 people in the same team. you had something special early on, man. I think if you kept that right after losing one game, it would have been fine. You know, like, come on, man, you can improve. It's not one game, one match isn't over. Changing things again and again, it can have two effects, right? It can be very good because obviously maybe they just sync up very well with the new changes and the team somehow is able to keep that level of synergy with every new player coming in. Cool. But it's a double-edged sword, right? That could happen. It could also be the outcome that we're seeing right now. Synergy is just, it's gone. The chemistry from the players. There are a lot of moments where if you watch the Evos Legends game where you're like, oh my God, this player is doing such a bad job at like laning, etc. But if you really look into it, it's more of a miscommunication than it is that player making a mistake. You know, like there's a lot of miscomms, I think, from just how they play. And it kind of makes sense, right? Because they keep on changing their rosters. And for the Filipinos who are watching, you know, I always have my phone open on the English live stream. And it was just pretty funny to watch because all the Filipinos who were obviously enraged by Dilar being demoted to the MDL, they were just taking it out on Evos Legends, right? #7, the spam in the English stream. And yeah, they kept on like bashing the coach, etc. From my understanding, season 10, I think they kind of announced this before the season started, but the decisions that they make for the players, like who to go down, who to promote, etc., and who to play, isn't from Zace, but it's from the management itself. So it's the full management, apparently, right? So I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's true. That's what they say. Don't hate on one guy, guys. Like, I've seen so much hate for Pendragon. Dude, the man didn't kick the lar. He's a player. He gets told to play and he plays. Why are you guys hating on the man? If you want to send hate, if you want to send like threats, etc., don't send it to the players, guys. Don't send it at all, to be honest. But please don't do it to the players, man. They're players. They're coming here. It's their job. The management decides whether or not they play. SarCAST as well. Everyone were bullying them in the chat. And again, if it's really the management, if the management makes the decisions, the players have nothing to do with it, man. Okay, they come on, man. Be better. Be smarter. Don't do that. Don't hate on the players. They're so young too, guys, right? They're young. They're very young. Their mental state isn't really stable, man. A lot of these players are teenagers, for Christ's sake. My God. Sometimes live chat gets really dumb and really toxic. And they kind of forget that, like, on the other side, the pro players, they're humans too, man. God damn. Like, I swear to God, these people who are like sending comments and hate DMs and hate comments all over, dumbest people in the world. Absolutely stupid, right? Like, if they got all the hate, they'd probably they wouldn't be able to live with it. All right. That's what I'm going to say. So please respect the players, guys. If you have any criticism, obviously you can say that. You have freedom of speech in the internet, but leaving just hate to the players is I don't know. I keep on rambling about this, about the hate and shit, because it's kind of disgusting. The players do their best, obviously, on stage. It's not their fault that the Filipino import got demoted. I personally didn't agree with the demotion as well. I think Dilar is a world-class player, should be in the MPL, but you can't hate the players, all right? But that's it, I think. 38 minutes this time for the SarCAST. A very long episode because, again, there's just a lot of topics to talk about, and every single topic is super fun to talk about. I want to know what you guys think about, obviously, all the topics. I think the hottest one will be the Dilar one, and Evos Legends as a whole, the downfall. So I'd like to see your opinions, obviously, in the comments down below. Let's discuss about it. What do you think is wrong? And please don't hate on the players, right? Last request from me. Don't hate on the players. Come on, all right? But that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and obviously comment down below what you think about any one of these topics. You can tell me. You can just... yeah, I'll try to read all the comments. I'll try to respond as well. Let's have a civil discussion in the comment section. And I'll see you guys in the video when I'm commenting, when I'm replying to you guys. Peace out.